Here are my 8 tips to improve your lifestyle and have a longer health span. Recently on the Proof podcast with Simon Hill, he released his longevity challenge, which is a very in-depth look at the metrics in your life. As part of the package of free information, there was a series of habits that you should form over a 12-week period. That would then hopefully improve your key metrics during the study. It triggered me to once again look at my own longevity goals, which I've talked about previously here. So, here are my own revised habits for longevity. Rule 1. Protein. There's plenty of argument out there about the amount of protein one should be consuming on a daily basis, when it should be eaten, and where that source of protein should be. There does seem to be a consensus that you should consume slightly more protein as you age, which will help overcome sarcopenia and the body's reduced ability to synthesize the protein into the muscle tissue. You should definitely look at your own research to determine what you would like to eat, but I'm attempting to eat 100 grams of protein per day. I choose to eat this from many sources, including plant sources like tofu and legumes. I found it difficult to eat this level of protein whilst minimising the overall calorie intake, so I eat meat and dairy, which seems to be more protein dense. Rule 2. Plant variety. We've all heard that we should be eating 5 pieces of fruit or vegetables per day, which is loosely based on the World Health Organization guidelines. But this is differently interpreted in different countries, so again, opinions differ. Japan recommends 7 to 13 vegetables and 2 to 4 fruit portions per day. So my rule is to aim for 10 different types of plants per day, so 3 apples would only count as 1 on my list. This hopefully covers the fruit and vegetable intake that I would require. Rule 3. Resistance exercise. It's a simple one. My aim is to complete 3 to 4 resistance exercise sessions per week. I use the Push app to generate these sessions, and I vary the type and intensity of the training throughout the year, usually into 12-week blocks to be built around things like holidays, which I use as deload or recovery periods. Rule 4. Daily steps. Another one that gets plenty of press, and I've tried it before here. Currently I'm attempting to do 10,000 steps per day, but this doesn't happen every day. Rule 5. Sleep duration. Most of us know that sleep is really important, especially for recovery. I'd never really placed a target on this, which seems strange, and this was highlighted by both my recent adoption of the Athletic app and in Simon Hill's longevity program. So I'm picking this metric and aiming for 8 hours in bed per day. This usually results in 7 to 7.5 hours of sleeping. Rule 6. Mobility. Since giving it a trial run, I've been consistently using the Pliability app. I try to do this as part of my working day, Monday to Friday, and occasionally pick the longer 45-minute session at the weekend. The app is expensive, so you could try other forms of yoga or stretching apps, but I find the sessions in this really beneficial as I sit down for work every day. Rule 7. Mental health. For any of this to work properly to its full potential, you have to be stress-free. I've been interested in Dan Buettner's Blue Zones, which has been recently refreshed by the Netflix documentary. Whilst the people living in the Blue Zones have movement and clean diet at the heart of their lifestyles, the standout to me is the connection they get from community. For me personally, my connection to close friends hasn't recovered to pre-COVID lockdown levels of contact frequency. So I'm focusing a lot on this rule. I volunteer for a theatre group making and painting theatre sets, which lets me hang out with some chaps in their 80s. They are an inspiration to me as all of them are active people. One of the habits in Simon Hill's scheme is to consciously do something joyful every day. So I always make sure I finish work before a cut-off time, and then I have time for creative endeavours, which might be making these videos, making dinner for the family, or just sitting in the sun reflecting on the day. Rule 8. Mental training. Each day I do 3 of the New York Times puzzles and share the results with my children. They also participate and we have a little ongoing competition. I also try to get a few lessons of Duolingo in. Not for a particular trip or purpose, simply to exercise my brain in a way that doesn't get flexed during the working day. I also have a subscription to Peak. There's many similar brain training apps out there, and all are reminiscent of the Dr. Kawashima's brain training on the Nintendo DS. So those are the things that I'm working on to build solid habits. Let me know in the comments below how you're forming your habits for longevity.